most people know about Gibraltar is cheap cigarettes, cheap booze, and an age-old battle for sovereignty between the Spanish and the British. But there's a lot more to Gibraltar than that. Join us as we explore the lesser-known parts of Gibraltar.
Gibraltar looks like a fortress. It is a great big rock sitting on a peninsula at a very strategic position at the entrance to the Mediterranean. It's also a lump of limestone, which means it's relatively easy to tunnel through, something that was not lost on the British when it fell under their control in the 18th century. The Spanish wanted Gibraltar back, and so the British found themselves with a lot of defending to do. In the 1770s, the Spanish threw everything they had at Gibraltar to try and get it back, resulting in a siege that lasted 3 years. During that time, the British built the Great Siege Tunnels, which were really gun emplacements with a commanding view of the north end of Gibraltar. From here, the British gunners could blast the attacking Spanish troops with cannon fire.
And for the unfortunate Spanish and French troops sent to attack Gibraltar, the first thing they would have seen would have been a wall of rock hundreds of feet high with cannons poking out the top. I'm not sure I would have charged forward if you told me to.
As Britain's imperial power increased, defending Gibraltar and controlling the Mediterranean remained important. Nothing says, "This is my patch," like a great big gun. And in the late 19th century, this massive 100-ton gun was installed in Gibraltar to protect the port and allow Gibraltar to continue to dominate the entrance to the Mediterranean. It's still there, and if you're interested in Gibraltar's military history, it's well worth a visit.
We're on our way to the top of the rock, in the fastest way to get to the top of the rock, which must be on this cable car. When we get there, we're going to see some furry friends who may be the oldest inhabitants of the rock. Join us at the top.
The Barbary apes have been a feature of Gibraltar for hundreds of years. This is the only place in Europe where you can see apes living wild. The apes may seem tame, but do take care. They are, after all, wild animals and will try and grab food from your backpack given half a chance. A stroll in the Upper Rock Nature Reserve will give you some spectacular views, all the way to Africa. Close to the Ape's Den, within the Upper Rock Nature Reserve, is St. Michael's Cave. It is actually a network of caves that you can visit, and is a very impressive sight indeed. The cave is huge, and is used as an auditorium for concerts and other events. In the Second World War, it was even prepared for use as a hospital. Legend says that there is a tunnel from this cave running all the way to Africa, which is supposedly how the apes got here.
Hello, Africa. Can you hear me? Hello? No one there.
Back down in the town, we continue our nature theme with a visit to the very attractive and well-maintained Botanical Gardens. This is a perfect spot to sit down, take a break, and maybe even enjoy an afternoon snooze. The gardens were laid out in the early 19th century by Sir George Donne, who was the first public leader to actually give a monkeys about what Gibraltar was like to live in for its civilian population. Sir George did a great job and turned a run-down area into this beautiful garden. The Botanical Gardens is where we sat down for a chat with Gail from the Gibraltar Tourist Board, who told us a little bit about the Gibraltarians as a people.
The Gibraltarian is, I call us mongrels, which is not really the right word, but it is the right terminology in the fact that we are very mixed. So we've had, for example, the Genoese came in the 1700s following the British who settled here then, and they used to repair their ships, and they were allowed to fish in our waters. We have the Maltese, who also came over when Malta was also a British colony in the Med, like we still are. And so we have a lot of Maltese ancestry. Of course, we have British ancestry, we have Spanish, because they are our next door neighbors. Portuguese as well, because Portugal is, as you know, like 4 hours drive away from the rock. So people have always come to Gibraltar for work, initially for fighting.
Back in the town, there is plenty to keep the shopaholics entertained. Main Street Gibraltar has all kinds of shops, from typically English shops to regional specialities. Keep an eye out for the different types of architecture too. As Gail says, Gibraltar is a mixture of nationalities, so it has a mixture of styles. Alongside Main Street is Irish Town, which is where we took Gail for a coffee. Saccarello's is a charming and rather historic coffee shop, which began life as a warehouse, but is now a rather smart cafe-restaurant cum art gallery. Our girl actually leads a double life as an up-and-coming artist, and some of her artwork is on display here. Back towards the north end of Gibraltar, heading for the border, we pass through Casemates Square on our way to Ocean Village. Casemates is one of the hubs of Gibraltar's social life. It's a traditional setting with plenty of reminders of Gibraltar's military history. A great place to stop for a pint. Gibraltar is a bit more than 1 hour's drive from the main areas of the Costa del Sol. We'll leave the last word to the lovely Gail.
The thing is, you have to come to Gibraltar because there's just so much to be discovered. And please do me a favour and come and visit us at the information office at Casemates Square, or if you're coming through the border, we're at every entry point. Ask us what there is to find out, because there's so much more to see than just the typical visit up the rock to see the monkeys and buy your cheap tobacco.
And take your cheap booze and
yeah, I mean, you can do that, but we do have that, but we just have so much more to discover, and I hate it when people come and they don't realise everything we have that's on offer, because you name it, we have it.